In brief moments, we mark our beginning. In compassion, we find freedom. Welcome to your ledger, where you author your story. Episode 8 of The Quiet Ledger, The Steady Hand. Please remember that the TQL series offers gentle guidance and metaphorical frameworks for financial wellness. This is not professional financial, legal, or therapeutic advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making specific financial decisions. Welcome, I am Teach, the builder. Last time we lightened the basket and practiced the discernment of what belongs in this season. Today we steady the hand, turning our attention to the artisan's quality of attention in daily choices. The builder understands what the artisan knows. Steadiness is a practice, developed through repetition, refined through the small choices made day after day. The artisan's hand is steady because it has shown up to the work of building with consistent attention over time. Many of us are looking for the large gesture that will change the shape of what we are building. The builder understands that it is the steady hand on the daily work that determines the shape of everything. Today we practice bringing that steadiness forward, decision by decision. In the ordinary choices of the day, let us anchor ourselves in the now. Breathe in deeply, gathering the stillness, and breathe out, releasing tension in your jaw and shoulders. One more, inviting calm focus, and out, settling the mind into peace. You are perfectly safe here. The artisan, a craftsperson whose hand has learned its work through repetition and through care, a maker who understands that a piece built well is built one deliberate movement at a time. Consider what the artisan's hand knows that the rushing hand cannot. Precision requires stillness. Quality is built through consistency of attention. The work done carefully day after day produces something that a single large push cannot. The builder understands this in the context of money. The habits built steadily carry more over time than the dramatic commitments made in moments of intensity that cannot be sustained. In a world built for instant results and digital speed, choosing the artisan's pace is a genuine act of discernment. The notification arrives asking for a response. The platform presents an opportunity closing soon. The artisan pauses, brings the steady hand, moves with intention, and trusts that the careful movement builds what the rushed one cannot. The builder also understands that the artisan's pace is available to anyone who chooses to bring it. It requires no special equipment, no particular starting point, only the decision to move with intention. In this moment, and then in the next one, the hand steadies with use. Today we begin. The builder also knows that beginning with a small and sustainable movement is the artisan's first lesson. The pace chosen today is the pace that will return tomorrow. A soft view accompanies our exploration with the steady hand, offered by Aristotle, who understood that excellence arrives through the consistent application of intention and effort over time, and that no outcome of real value arrives by accident. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. The builder recognizes this understanding as familiar ground. The steady hand often begins here. The habit built consistently. The review returned to was steadiness. The practice held through the seasons that asked for patience are all expressions of what Aristotle named excellence. In this sense, accumulates through the sustained return to what matters. The steady hand that tends the same practice week after week builds something that intensity alone could never produce. In the practice of building consistent and sustainable habits, this is the quality the builder brings into view. The steady hand is the one that returns, week after week, with sincere and consistent intention, the kind Aristotle recognized as the only real source of excellence. The builder knows that the hand that returns builds more than the hand that arrives inspired and departs before the work is done. Excellence lives in the returning. The builder brings that view into every week, in every season, every steady, unhurried return to the practice that builds what the years eventually reveal. Our first anchor is orientation. Some discover a gap between the habits they intend to build and the ones that actually show up in their daily patterns. We sense that a regular account review would bring more calm. We intend to save before spending. We plan to check our values before discretionary purchases. Yet the pace of managing digital platforms, subscriptions, and competing demands can move faster than our intentions. When we slow down enough to observe our actual patterns, something useful becomes visible. The gap itself becomes information. The awareness itself is the beginning of the artisan's practice. Precise attention, clear sight. The first deliberate mark on the page. We are building the capacity to see our life with honesty as a starting point from which real movement begins. Our second anchor is action. What if we practice choosing one small, consistent practice to carry into this week? Just one. You may find that a brief review of your account activity at the same time each week creates a rhythm your attention can settle into. You may find that a recurring transfer, set early in the pay cycle, builds a sense of steady forward movement, however modest the amount. You may find that pausing before a discretionary purchase to check whether it reflects your current priorities becomes a form of quiet decision-making that costs almost nothing and clarifies a great deal. Consistency has a quality that size alone cannot produce. It creates familiarity, and familiarity creates ease, and ease creates the kind of forward movement that is actually sustainable across a life. You might discover that the particular practice matters less than the consistency you bring to it. You have the capacity to choose one practice today and return to it tomorrow. Our third anchor is reframing. When we observe how sustainable habits actually move through time, we see something worth trusting. Consistency is a practice of returning, moving with the season, finding the center again. The return is the practice. Some months bring higher expenses. Some months allow greater saving. Some months ask us to rebuild what the season required, coming back to the values we have identified, adjusting to current conditions while keeping the same center. That is what consistency actually looks like. Sustainable habits bend and respond, and still point toward the same destination. The practice asks only for the return. Each time we come back, we are honoring the same center we set at the start. We are cultivating the practice of returning to our values steadily, one small act at a time, in every season the month brings. Consider the nature of an artisan's precision. How each movement is made with care, one decision at a time, building something lasting. Through patient, consistent effort, the artisan gives the work the time it requires. Each pass a return to what matters, deliberate, accumulating, still, steady. The tool meeting the surface with intention, the pressure calibrated, the rhythm steady. Each pass refining what the last pass began. At rest, notice the space to refine. Each pass over the work a return to what matters, the second layer. In the third, something in the repetition changes the quality of what is being built. That patience is available to you. You came back, the quality of returning to the same practice, the familiarity that builds with each repetition. Consider the nature of an artisan's consistency. How each choice builds upon the last, everything accumulating. The craft grows through returning, through the quiet practice of coming back. This is what it means to build consistent and sustainable habits, settled, carried forward, the artisan's work visible in what was made, your consistent practice, visible in what you are becoming, one deliberate return at a time, real. As we return to our shared space, the steady hand invites a gentle shift in how we understand what consistency is actually made of. consider one practice for your financial life that you can return to with regularity, something that can repeat, a rhythm you might begin to trust, welcomed in a way that feels sustainable, and asks for consistency more than force. Perhaps the practice looks quieter than you expected consistency to look. Perhaps there is as much in the returning after a pause as in any unbroken run. You might find that the steady returning creates something over time that a single effort rarely does. The builder trusts that what you have engaged with today is the practice beginning. Thank you for being here, for being willing to return to a practice and to trust that the returning itself is part of what builds the steadiness. In the coming days, you might find yourself coming back to the rhythm you have been tending and noticing that it is a little more familiar than before, perhaps finding that what the consistent returning is building is visible in small ways, that a single effort leaves waiting. Perhaps you will find that the hand becomes steady through the returning, and that returning is the practice. I am Teach, the builder. Thank you for returning to this ledger. May you move through your days with the quiet confidence of someone building something real through the practice of coming back and discovering that consistency is made of exactly this. Until we meet again. Next time on your journey in the series, we will practice the deep breath, finding calm in uncertainty.